Ready. All right, here we are in Tacoma, Washington. What this is going to be is a class on release arms. Just exactly what is a release arm, what the purpose is of a release arm, why we have one, why they must be there, and we're actually going to activate this one to show you how it drops and what the purpose of the cantilever being properly balanced. This cantilever has been refurbished, and if you look straight up here, you're going to see that there was a configuration made that basically brings the trip lever all the way out to here. Look here. And the trip lever is right above me here. And that trip lever, because the fire escape is perfectly balanced, that trip lever is what's going to, once you release it, it allows this cantilever that is based on this weight. If you come down here, you're going to see that the weight system on this is perfectly balancing. This weight system is carrying, if this weight box weighs 500 or 1,000 pounds, there's 500 or 1,000 pounds worth of weight on that weight system. So all that trigger, all that pin is really holding up in the air is about 100 or 200 pounds, depending on what the requirement is to let this thing drop at 2 to 3 feet per second. So right now the fire escape has been balanced, we've greased all the pins, the cable has been checked. This thing is now positioned and set up so that it can be activated. Now, it can only be activated as part of testing or during an emergency release. If somebody was to touch this, then there has to be, the inspection company has to come back out again, because now the inspection certificate is void, because they now must properly confirm that nothing has happened to the release mechanism. It's ready now to be used during a fire escape evacuation. So, again, the mechanisms on these that the nose is heavy and the nose is where the weight system is that you have to sort of configure a release arm that somehow comes out here along the wall, or it has to be manufactured to come out in the air, and it must grab the cantilever at the midpoint. So now I'm going to send up a representative up there to the release arm. The thing is supposed to drop at 2 to 3 feet per second, and we're going to watch that now as we see. So let's keep it on. And this is usually a two-man operation whenever the fire escapes get tested. And normally, because it's already in an up position, you either come in through the building or you get an inspector to walk up to the building and basically climb up and get onto the first platform there. And he's going to go up there first now and remove the arm that's on there. There's supposed to be no arm on the crank that brings the thing back up, so he's going to remove that crank. Make sure that there's no pin. Usually all the pins are removed from any of these cranks that you use to release the cantilever. That way, by mistake, nobody ever leaves the thing in a locked position. Okay, as you can see, let go. The arm is usually somewhere up on the top, near, and the arm is never supposed to be on there. And again, the arm, all it does is it basically, in some cases, you can use the arm to basically reduce the drop. Okay, so now we're going to come down. Is it on the off position? And now let's take a look at the release arm. He's got the release arm in his hand. He's going to push it forward. It releases underneath. The cantilever starts to drop. The weight balance goes up, hits the ground, and stays down. 2 to 3 feet per second, hits the ground, stays down. Now, in order to get it back up, as you can see, the cantilever came down. He's now going to go back up. Show the pin. Can you point out the handle, but also the pin right next to you up there?
Yeah.
That is the release arm. Can you activate the release arm while you're there?
Well, you do it after you lift it up.
Yep. I'm just saying, just lift it, just move it now while you're there so they can see that once you close the pin while you're in the up position, how the pin comes back out and gets underneath. Okay, so now let's go back up and let's crank it. Actually, this is just the dropping. We'll show the cranking back up as a separate video. Okay? Okay, so now what we have is we're going to be showing you how to put up a cantilever. And again, a cantilever that is on a balance system, which is, this is the balance system. It has a crank up there that basically lets you crank it back up into position. It's a two-man operation. One man must be ready to basically lock it into position, and then they either use a ladder to come back down, or they would go in that door. So again, Whenever these things are activated during an inspection, it's usually a two-man operation, and or they work it out with the building official, or work it out so that whoever's doing this must have some knowledge on how to properly release and how to properly lock this thing into its proper mode to be activated during an emergency. Any other activity and any other use of this fire escape during its time while it was activated would void the certification. So it's very important that if anybody touches this fire escape, they must notify the building official and the inspection company that they needed to drop the cantilever for whatever reason, because it's a sensitive issue, a sensitive arm, and it's a two-man operation. There's no holdback on that arm, so whoever's cranking it's got to hold that lever, because the locking pin that usually locks it in there is removed, so that nobody ever locks it into position, which would prohibit this thing from coming down. So the locking pin is removed. It's a two-man operation, and until the second man locks it in position with that release arm, he's got to hold that lever up above. So go ahead, start cranking. As you can see, because the system has got a weight balance on it, you know, what we're really lifting is not the whole weight of the stair. The balance, which is the weight which is coming down that wall, is basically what's lifting up this fire escape. The crank is just making up the difference. If this thing weighs 50 to 100 pounds more than the weight system, that crank is lifting only that. So as you can see, anybody with a normal use of their hands, anybody with normal abilities, will be able to crank and lift this thing up in the air. A lot of times these videos can be sent to the owners to make them aware that, again, it's a two-man operation. During a testing, this is what we would do. The second man would be there ready and to basically lock it into position. And he's got the arm ready. He keeps cranking, and as you can see, as it goes higher and higher, it's got a cable in case something does happen. It does snap. There's nobody below, but at the same time, even if it does want to snap, it'll only drop 2 to 3 feet per second. It's not like a guillotine. So he's cranking. It's getting closer to the point where there's ability to lock it into position. He's up there ready to pull it and lock it. There it is. It's high. He pulls it back up to the cross position so that it would block anybody. And as you can see, and the cantilever's dropped, he just let it go, and basically now it's ready to drop. There's no pin. There's nothing. The rope is taut to a certain degree. Even if it loosens up a little bit, it won't come loose from that. The weight of the arm itself won't let it rotate too many times. So it may loosen up just a little bit, but if it drops, not only does the cantilever drop, the rotating arm rotates, but there's no ability to hurt anybody because it's way up there. In some cases, when it's not, if it's inside, like the other fire escape is, we have to remove the arm and put it separately off to the side so that nobody gets hurt. And then as you can see, because we're getting access from the ladder, the fire escape is in its position. The two inspectors are coming off and over, so it's a dangerous operation, as you can see. The arm is ready. The pin is ready. The connection to the cantilever is ready. The cantilever is ready to be used. The arm is blocking. Everything is here. It's up in the air, and it took all of 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes to basically do this. Put it up in the air. She is up in the air, 12 to 14 feet off the ground, making it so that trucks can get underneath. And now what we have is a fire escape that has been set for an emergency. Any tampering, any use, any activity on this fire escape, any unauthorized use of this fire escape by masons, anybody doing work on this building, if they get on this fire escape or touch this fire escape in any way, they own the fire escape. And it has to be re-inspected and recertified because the certificate is void if anybody steps it.